Welcome children. Today we'll start a new chapter, Respiration in Plants. This is chapter 14 of class 11th biology. Let us see what we are going to discuss today. We'll discuss what is respiration, respiratory substrate, breathing in plants, types of respiration and glycolysis. So let us start our discussion with what is respiration. Before that, we should know the full form of some of the abbreviations. While discussing this chapter, we'll come across these abbreviations. So it is important to know ATP, adenosine triphosphate, ADP, adenosine diphosphate, NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, NADH, reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, PGA, phosphoglyceric acid, PGAL, phosphoglyceraldehyde, FAD, flavin adenine dinucleotide, ETS, electron transport system, ETC, electron transport chain, TCA, tricarboxylic acid, OAA, oxaloacetic acid, FMN, flavin mononucleotide, PPP, pentose phosphate pathway. So please make a note of this one, children. You can pause the video at this point and you can note down these things. So now, what is respiration? You know that children, we need food for energy and we need energy to do the work, and energy is also required for the various metabolic activities that takes place in our body. So how we get the energy from the food? The breakdown of complex molecule to yield energy takes place in the cytoplasm, and that too, you know that mitochondria is the site for cellular respiration and it is also known as powerhouse of the cell. So in eukaryotic cell, the site for cellular respiration is mitochondria, where the respiration or the breakdown of the complex molecules takes place and the energy is released, and that energy is trapped in the form of ATP. So the ATP are known as the energy currency. Let us see what is respiration. The breaking off of the C-C bond, carbon-carbon bond, because here we are talking about the organic compounds. So organic compounds made up of carbon and hydrogen. So breaking off the C-C bond of complex compounds through oxidation within the cells, leading to release of considerable amount of energy, is called respiration. So the compounds that are oxidized during this process is known as respiratory substrate. So this is very important, children. Respiration, जैसे आपका कोई complex compound break होता है तो उससे energy release होता है and that process is called respiration. But जिस चीज का oxidation होता है, जो oxidize होता है, उसको कहा जाता है respiratory substrate. So what exactly the respiratory substrate? Usually carbohydrates are the respiratory substrate because they are usually oxidized to release energy. But in certain cases, proteins, fats, even organic acids can also be used as respiratory substrate in some plants. But more often and commonly, carbohydrates are the main source of energy. So how the respiratory substrate are broken down to form the energy, and in what form energy is stored in the cell. During oxidation within a cell, all the energy contained in respiratory substrate is not released free into the cells or in a single step. ये जो ऑक्सीडेशन होता है रेस्पिरेटरी सबस्ट्रेट, यानी हम यहाँ बोल सकते हैं कार्बोहाइड्रेट का जो ब्रेकडाउन होता है, ऑक्सीडेशन होता है, उससे जो ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी रिलीज होता है वो सीधा सेल में रिलीज नहीं हो जाता, फ्रीली सेल में रिलीज नहीं हो जाता, और ना कि ये जो ऑक्सीडेशन प्रोसेस एक स्टेप में होता है। ये प्रोसेस सीरीज ऑफ स्टेप्स में होता है, which is a very slow process and it is controlled by several enzymes। और इसमें से जो एनर्जी रिलीज होता है वो एनर्जी ट्रैप हो जाता है किसमें, एटीपी में। और जब कोई फंक्शन के लिए या मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज के लिए एनर्जी की जरूरत होती है, तब ये एटीपी ब्रेकडाउन होता है और एनर्जी यूटिलाइज होता है, and that's why ATP acts as the energy currency। So this energy is trapped in ATP, is utilized in various energy requiring process of the organism, and the carbon skeleton produced during respiration is used as precursors for biosynthesis of other molecule। हम जैसे जैसे आगे जाएंगे तो हम देखेंगे कि रेस्पिरेशन जब हो रहा है, ये तो काफी सारे स्टेप्स से हो रहा है, तो हर स्टेप में कुछ ना कुछ कार्बन कंपाउंड रिलीज हो रहा है, और वो कार्बन कंपाउंड जो रेस्पिरेशन का डिफरेंट स्टेप में रिलीज होता है वो किसी दूसरे बायोसिंथेटिक प्रोसेस के लिए यूज हो जाता है। Let us see what are the processes involved in respiration। Respiration is involving two stages: external respiration and internal respiration। External respiration is often known as breathing, and internal respiration is the cellular respiration। So the internal respiration is again of two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration। Okay, so we'll discuss in details about this as we'll move ahead। Now the first thing is that the first stage of respiration is breathing। So now the question is, like animals, whether the plants also breathe or not? Yes, the answer is yes. Like animals and humans, plants also breathe. And plants do require oxygen to respire, and in this process, the carbon dioxide is released as it takes place in case of other animals। Unlike humans and animals, plants do not possess any specialized structure। जैसे आप जानते हैं कि एनिमल या ह्यूमन बीइंग में एक स्पेसिफिक ऑर्गन या स्पेशलाइज्ड सिस्टम होता है जो कि रेस्पिरेशन करता है, या जो एक्सटर्नल रेस्पिरेशन यानी ब्रीदिंग करता है। ब्रीदिंग इज ए मैकेनिकल प्रोसेस जहां आपका सिर्फ एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस होता है, and all living organism requires oxygen, so all living organism undergo breathing। Okay, but in case of plant, the breathing takes place by the different parts of the plant separately। Most of you think that the stomata are the only openings through which the gaseous exchange takes place, but it is not like that, children, because stomata are present only in leaves। So the leaves can respire or breathe through stomata, but what about the stem and root? Because whatever amount of oxygen is taken up by the leaves through the stomata cannot be transported to the distant part of the plant. No such system is there in plants. So the leaves, stems and plant root respire at a low pace compared to the human animals and separately, individually। Okay, so here you can see that the leaf respires separately, the stem respires separately, and the root respires separately। Okay, so let us see how the respiration takes place in root। So this is the underground part of the plant, that is root, and that you know that the root absorbs air from the एयर स्पेस प्रेजेंट बिटवीन द सॉइल पार्टिकल। आपको पता है कि सॉइल का टेक्सचर अलग अलग होता है और वो टेक्सचर के हिसाब से उसके अंदर ऑक्सीजन भी होता है, एयर भी होता है। तो वहां से आपका जो ये रूट है, रूट वहां से ऑक्सीजन को एब्जॉर्ब करता है, ठीक है। एंड दैट absorbed oxygen is utilized in the root itself to liberate energy. Okay, and that energy is also utilized for transporting the minerals and salt that has been absorbed by the root to the different parts of the plant. So here the highlighted view is there. So suppose these are the soil, this is the soil, and in between the soil the space is there, and you can see that the root hairs and the root are penetrating into the soil, and from the space, in the space water and air is there, and from there the air is absorbed by the roots. So this is how the root respires. The next, respiration in stem. So the air in case of stem diffuses into the stomata. Some stems contain stomata, so they can respire through the stomata. The gaseous exchange can take place through stomata, and then it moves to different parts of the cell to respire. And during this stage, the carbon dioxide liberated is also diffused through the stomata. But there are certain stems which contains lenticels. Here you can see in the picture, the lenticel is there. You have already studied the structure of lenticel and function of lenticel in plant anatomy. So there the lenticels present in the woody stems, which helps in gaseous exchange. Now the major part that is involved in the process of breathing or the exchange of gas is the stomata, and the stomata are present in the leaves and few stems, and the leaves consist of the tiny pores, and that is known as stomata, through which the gaseous exchange takes place, that you all know about it. So I am not discussing the structure of stomata and how the closing and opening of stomata is taking place, that you have already studied in your lower classes. Now we will discuss the types of respiration. There are two main types of respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So what is aerobic respiration? It is the type of respiration which takes place in mitochondria of all eukaryotic cells. Okay. So this is very important children. Aerobic respiration हमेशा माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में होता है, और एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में फूड मॉलिक्यूल जो होता है, कॉम्प्लेक्स फूड मॉलिक्यूल कंप्लीटली ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाता है, और क्या रिलीज होता है आपका? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, वाटर एंड एनर्जी रिलीज होता है। और एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन हमेशा ऑक्सीजन प्रेजेंस में होता है। सो यहाँ पर जो फूड ऑक्सीडाइज होता है, कॉम्प्लेक्स फूड, उसको ऑक्सीडाइज करने के लिए ऑक्सीजन की जरूरत होती है। एंड दिस टाइप ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन इज ऑब्जर्व्ड इन ऑल द हायर ऑर्गेनिजम्स एंड इट रिक्वायर्स द ऑक्सीजन। नाउ कमिंग टू द एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन, दिस occurs within the cytoplasm, not in mitochondria. So it occurs in the cytoplasm of both prokaryote and eukaryote, including yeast and bacteria, and here less amount of energy is liberated as compared to aerobic respiration. हम अगर दोनों का एनर्जी, नेट एनर्जी आउटपुट के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे, तो आपका एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में कम एनर्जी रिलीज होता है। और सबसे बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंस है कि एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में ऑक्सीजन की जरूरत नहीं होती, इसीलिए फूड कंप्लीटली ऑक्सीडाइज नहीं होता, food is oxidized incompletely. Okay, so this is the complete sketch of aerobic and anaerobic pathway in brief. So here you can see that suppose say the food molecule, complex food molecule is glucose, because it is the immediate source of energy which breaks down to release the energy. So here you can see that the glucose undergoes glycolysis and it produces pyruvate. Now this pyruvate, so this process of glycolysis is common to both anaerobic and aerobic respiration. So remember children, this is very important. Glycolysis is a common pathway for anaerobic and aerobic respiration, and glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. But after the formation of pyruvate, the pyruvate moves into the mitochondria where the aerobic respiration takes place, and the pyruvate in case of anaerobic respiration remains in the cytoplasm and it undergoes anaerobic respiration or fermentation. Okay. So if you will remember this flow chart, then easily you can differentiate that what processes are there in the anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration, and what are the site where actually the aerobic and anaerobic respiration takes place. Now this is the site of aerobic respiration. As I have told you that glycolysis is the common pathway and it takes place in the cytoplasm. Now in the cytoplasm, the glucose has been converted into pyruvate, but the pyruvate enters into the mitochondria where oxygen is used up to oxidize the pyruvate, and the pyruvate is completely oxidized to release carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so here since the food is completely oxidized, so huge amount of energy is released as compared to the anaerobic respiration. So look at this picture. So how this pyruvate is synthesized in the, it is produced in the cytoplasm and then it enters into the mitochondria where the rest of the oxidative process takes place. Now let us see anaerobic respiration. So here you can see that glycolysis, as I said, it is the common pathway. So after glycolysis, the pyruvate remains in the cytoplasm itself and it undergoes fermentation. And as a result of fermentation, two types of product may be produced. There is one type of fermentation. In one type of fermentation, ethanol may be produced, and in other type of fermentation, lactate or lactic acid can be produced. But here the food is not completely oxidized into carbon dioxide and water, so less amount of energy is released. Now the glycolysis, as I said, that it is common pathway for both aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Then we should know what is glycolysis, and first we will discuss the process of glycolysis. Then we will separately discuss anaerobic and aerobic respiration. What is glycolysis? The word glycolysis is derived from the Greek word glykos, meaning sweet. And sweet मतलब हम किसको जनरली स्वीट बोलते हैं? शुगर को. And lysis means to split or splitting or breaking down. Therefore, glycolysis or the glycolytic pathway means the metabolic breakdown of glucose. And what is glucose? Glucose is a 6-carbon sugar. It is a sugar which consists of 6 carbon. And here in glycolysis, the glucose is metabolically broken down to release energy, and this is called glycolysis. Now, when does the glycolysis takes place? कहाँ होता है? Already I have told you that glycolysis is the first phase of cellular respiration and it takes place in the cytoplasm where associated enzymes and factors are located. ग्लाइकोलिसिस के लिए जो एंजाइम या जो फैक्टर की जरूरत होती है वो सारे साइटोप्लाज्म में अवेलेबल होते हैं. एंड दिस प्रोसेस इज एनारोबिक because here no oxygen is required. for oxidation. Okay, but it releases energy. Then it has been shown to be one of the most ancient metabolic pathway that could occur even in the simplest cell. क्योंकि प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल में माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया नहीं होता, they have cytoplasm, so this process occurs in all the organisms. Now let us discuss the glycolytic pathway. So while discussing the glycolytic pathway, I will be talking about the steps where the energy is released in the form of ATP or in the form of NADH or in the form of FADH, and I will also discuss the enzymes that catalyze the particular reaction. So as you can see that this pathway is not a simple step pathway. The glucose is oxidized to form pyruvic acid or pyruvate, passing through several steps. So let us discuss this pathway, glycolytic pathway or glycolysis. This glycolysis starts with glucose molecule. This is one glucose molecule, and you know that glucose consists of 6 carbon atoms. So it is a 6C compound, and you can see that here this glucose is 6 carbon compound is now phospho. Here what happens? It is phosphorylated. That means it receives one phosphate from ATP. So here you can see, children, that this ATP is utilized. This is the step where energy is utilized. Okay. So here you can see this is the ATP. Okay. So ATP is converted into ADP, and the phosphate released from here is attached to the glucose. And to which position of the glucose? To the 6th carbon. So it is known as glucose 6-phosphate. And the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called hexokinase, because it is a hexose sugar, consists of 6 carbon atom. That's why the enzyme is hexokinase. And kinase, why? Because ATP is utilized. Okay. So children, remember where the ATP is utilized and where ATP is released. The next step. This remember children, this step is not reversible, but the next step is reversible, where simply isomerization takes place. So here what happens? Glucose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 6-phosphate. You know that glucose and fructose are two isomeric forms. That means same formula, same chemical formula, but different structure. So this is simply isomerization. Only structural change is there. That's why it is a reversible reaction, and it is catalyzed by the phosphoglucoisomerase. These enzymes are need to be remembered. So what is the product here? The fructose 6-phosphate. Now fructose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6-diphosphate or biphosphate, and it is catalyzed by phosphofructokinase. क्योंकि already phosphate था fructose के पास, that's why it is phosphofructo, and kinase because here once again another ATP is utilized. यहाँ फिर से आपका और एक ATP utilize हुआ और ADP रिलीज हुआ. तो यहाँ ATP से जो फॉस्फेट आया वो आकर फ्रुक्टोज का फर्स्ट पोजीशन, फर्स्ट कार्बन एटम में अटैच हो गया, and now it becomes the fructose 1,6-diphosphate. Okay, so up to this, that is from glucose to fructose 1,6-diphosphate, there are utilization or consumption of 2 ATP takes place. Okay, so How many ATP are utilized? 2 ATP are utilized. And what is produced? Fructose 1,6-diphosphate. One molecule of fructose 1,6-diphosphate, which is also consisting of 6 carbon atom. Now come to the next step, children. Now this fructose, which is a 6 carbon compound, now divides into 2 components. One is dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Here you can see dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and the other product is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. And you know that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is a 3 carbon compound. So it is also a 3 carbon compound. It is a 3C compound and it is also a 3C compound. Okay. So it is also a 3 carbon compound. So now these dihydroxy DHAP, it is otherwise known as DHAP. These are reversible. That means interconvertible. Okay. So this dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be converted into glyceraldehyde phosphate and vice versa. Now what happens? This fructose 1,6-diphosphate, its breakdown is catalyzed by one enzyme that is called aldolase. Okay. So here you can see this is aldolase. Okay. Now this interconversion of dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate can take place by triose phosphate isomerase, because these are triose phosphate. ठीक है, 3 कार्बन कंपाउंड है और एक फॉस्फेट है इसमें जो 2 फॉस्फेट था, एक चला गया डाइहाइड्रोक्सीएसीटोन फॉस्फेट में और दूसरा फॉस्फेट किस में चला गया? ग्लिसरैल्डिहाइड 3-phosphate. ठीक है. Now the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will be converted into 1,2-diphosphoglycerate or 1,2-diphosphoglyceric acid, and this is catalyzed by glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. So here you can see, children, that one of the hydrogen dehydrogenase, that means hydrogen is removed, so it is oxidized. So that hydrogen which has been removed from 1,2-diphosphoglycerate is used for reducing the NAD. So NAD is now reduced to form NADH. Okay. So this is the step where NADH is produced. Now what happens? The 1,2-diphosphoglycerate is converted to 3-phosphoglycerate. That means from here one phosphate is removed. So where this phosphate goes to the ADP. So here you can see that ADP receives one phosphate from diphosphoglycerate and it is converted into ATP. ठीक है. यहाँ 2 फॉस्फेट था, 1,2-डाइफॉस्फो मीन्स 2 फॉस्फेट था, इसमें से एक फॉस्फेट रिलीज हो गया और रिलीज होकर आपका एटीपी बन गया. तो यहाँ एटीपी रिलीज हो रहा है, तो इसके लिए एंजाइम क्या है? फॉस्फोग्लिसरेट काइनेज. एटीपी, क्योंकि जहां भी एटीपी का इन्वॉल्वमेंट होता है या फॉस्फेट बॉन्ड का इन्वॉल्वमेंट होता है, वहां आपका काइनेज एंजाइम यूज होता है. सो हियर द एंजाइम phosphoglycerate kinase is used to catalyze the reaction. Now come to the next step. The 1,2-diphosphoglycerate is converted into 3-phosphoglycerate. So here only one phosphate is there. You can see here only in the 3rd position one phosphate is there. Now this 3-phosphoglycerate is converted into 2-phosphoglycerate. So यहाँ क्या हो रहा है आपका? सिर्फ म्यूटेशन यानी आइसोमराइजेशन, सिर्फ फॉस्फेट का पोजीशन चेंज हो रहा है. इसको हम सिर्फ क्या कर रहे हैं? फॉस्फेट का पोजीशन यहाँ 3rd पोजीशन पे था, यहाँ 3rd पे था और आपका यहाँ क्या हो गया? 2nd पोजीशन में आ गया. ठीक है. सो यहाँ 2nd कार्बन, इसमें टोटल कितने कार्बन है? 3 कार्बन है, तो यहाँ 3 3rd कार्बन में था और यहाँ 2nd कार्बन में आ गया. सो दिस इज द ओनली डिफरेंस. That's why the enzyme used here is phosphoglyceromutase. यहाँ सिर्फ म्यूटेशन हो रहा है, ठीक है. The next step is again oxidation, where one molecule of water is removed and 2-phosphoglycerate is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate, PEP. Okay, and it is catalyzed by the enzyme enolase. And here water is removed. So this step also you have to remember, children, where the water is removed. Now this phosphoenol pyruvate is oxidized to form pyruvate kinase. Okay, so it forms it oxidized to form the pyruvate. I'm sorry, it is pyruvate, and the enzyme utilized here is pyruvate kinase. So here what happens? Phosphoenol pyruvate contains one phosphate. Now that phosphate is released and it becomes pyruvate. And what happens to that phosphate? Again that phosphate is utilized here by the ATP. ये ATP उस phosphate को ले लेता है और क्या हो जाता है? This ADP will be converted into ATP. Okay, so this is how the breakdown of glucose takes place. But here one of the most important point you have to note, children, from one glucose, how many 3 carbon compounds are formed? 2 3 carbon compounds are formed. One is dihydroxyacetone phosphate and other is glyceraldehyde. So here I have shown you the oxidation of only one glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. यहाँ पर मैंने एक ग्लिसरल 3 phosphate का दिखाया. लेकिन what happens to the dihydroxyacetone phosphate? So the dihydroxyacetone phosphate also converts into the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and it follows the same pathway. So the breakdown of glucose results in 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So you can multiply all the steps by 2. That means here 2 NADH are released and here 2 ATP are released. Here also 2 ATP are released. Okay. Now let us see what is the net gain of ATP in this process. Excuse me. Okay. So here this is the energy consumed, total energy consumed in various steps, that is ATP used, and this is ATP formed or ATP produced. Okay. Now in which step, कौन सा step में ATP यूज होता है, कौन सा step में ATP फॉर्म होता है? देखो स्टेज 1 हमने जो आपको बताया था, ग्लूकोकाइनेज मतलब फॉस्फोरिलेशन. ग्लूकोकाइनेज कहाँ होता है? अब देख लो, फर्स्ट स्टेप, सबसे पहला स्टेप. अब देखो यहाँ पर सबसे पहला स्टेप जो है, यहाँ आपका एक ATP प्रोड्यूस यूटिलाइज हुआ. So 1 ATP is utilized. Then second, phosphofructokinase. तो आप यहाँ देख सकते हो दूसरा ATP यहाँ पर यूज हुआ. So यहाँ हमारा दूसरा ATP यहाँ यूज हुआ. The next stage 2. Stage 2 मतलब जब वो डिवाइड हो जाता है ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट एंड डाइहाइड्रोक्सी एसीटोन फॉस्फेट. तो ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट से जब आपका दैट इज 3 फॉस्फेट डिहाइड्रोजिनेज होता है, वहां पर एटीपी कितना हमने लिया, यहां पर दिखाया आपको 6 एटीपी. सो हाउ इट इज 6 एटीपी, लेट मी टेल यू. तो ये स्टेप में आपका क्या रिलीज हो रहा है? इन दिस स्टेप व्हाट इज रिलीज्ड? In this step, your NADH is released. Excuse me. So here you can see that here NADH is released. So this NADH, you can see 1 NADH is equivalent to 3 ATP. So there are 2 glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So here 6 ATP are there. That means 1 NADH is equivalent to 3 ATP. So 2 NADH are produced. So it is equivalent to 6 ATP. Okay. So in this way 6 ATP are formed. Next, the fourth one, the phosphoglycerate kinase substrate. तो यहां हम देखेंगे phosphoglycerate substrate कहां हो रहा है, आप देखो यहां पर phosphoglycerate kinase, ये दूसरी जगह पर आपका एटीपी सिंथेसिस हो रहा है, आप देख सकते हैं यहां पर. Okay, so here another ATP is synthesized, this one. Okay, so this is, तो 3 phosphoglyceride से कितना होगा, 2 ATP. There are 2 ATP. Okay, similarly next stage 4 आपका pyruvate kinase, जहां pyruvate kinase यूज होता है, कहां हो रहा है pyruvate kinase, पूरा लास्ट स्टेप. आप आ जाइए, देखिए पूरा लास्ट स्टेप में आपका और एक एटीपी. तो हमारा यहां हो गया, 2 बार होता है ये प्रोसेस, सो 2 एटीपी. ओके, सो हमारा टोटल एटीपी गेन कितना हो रहा है, 6 + 2 + 2. हाउ, लेट मी टेल यू अगेन. आपका जो फ्रुक्टोज 1,6 डाइफॉस्फेट होता है वो ब्रेक डाउन होके डाइहाइड्रोक्सी एसीटोन फॉस्फेट होता है और ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट होता है. लेकिन डाइहाइड्रोक्सी एसीटोन फॉस्फेट भी ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है. इसका मतलब 2 ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट है, लेकिन हमने यहाँ पर सिर्फ एक ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट का पाथवे दिखाया, तो इसीलिए यहाँ पर NADH जो प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है वो एक ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड का ऑक्सीडेशन से प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, और यहाँ ATP जो प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है वो भी एक ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड से प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. अगर हम उसको 2 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो वो पूरा ग्लूकोज का ब्रेकडाउन से पाइरूवेट तक ऑक्सीडेशन से कितना एटीपी रिलीज होता है हमको उसका काउंट मिल जाता है यहाँ पर. तो टोटल हमारा एटीपी गेन कितना हुआ, 10. टोटल गेन कितना हुआ, 10. लेकिन कंज्यूम कितना हो गया, कंज्यूम हो गया 2. तो रहा कितना, व्हाट इज द नेट गेन ऑफ एटीपी, इट इज 8. सो इन ग्लाइकोलिसिस द नेट गेन ऑफ एटीपी इज 8 ATP. So I think it is clear to you how it is 8 ATP, the net gain of ATP. So you please go through these steps. ग्लूकोकाइनेस जहां आपका एंजाइम यूज हो रहा है उस स्टेप को बताया गया है, और यहाँ एंजाइम का नाम दिया गया है because only these enzymes are catalyzing the phosphorylation or dephosphorylation. Okay, so I think it is clear to you. Now what is the fate of pyruvate? यहाँ जो आपका पाइरूवेट बना in this step, what is the end product in glycolysis, it is pyruvate. So ये what happens to this pyruvate, let us see. So glucose is broken down to form 2 pyruvate, ठीक है, and the pyruvate now it has 3 fates, इसका 3 फेट होता है. सो एक है हाइपोऑक्सिक और एनारोबिक कंडीशन. अगर ये एनारोबिक कंडीशन है मतलब ऑक्सीजन नहीं है, तब क्या होगा, फर्मेंटेशन होगा और इनकम्प्लीट ऑक्सीडेशन होगा, और ये साइटोप्लाज्म में ही होगा, एंड इट विल प्रोड्यूस 2 इथेनॉल एंड 2 कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. तो यहाँ फूड कंप्लीट डाइजेशन, कंप्लीट ऑक्सीडेशन नहीं हो रहा है, which takes place in case of yeast. ठीक है. Now pyruvate का दूसरा पाथवे क्या है, this also takes place in hypoxic और anaerobic condition, जहां पर ऑक्सीजन की कमी होती है. उस कंडीशन में पाइरूवेट लैक्टेट में कन्वर्ट होता है, और ये जनरली हमारा vigorously contracting मसल्स में होता है. ठीक है. लेकिन जब एरोबिक कंडीशन है या एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होता है, तब एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में पाइरूवेट माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया के अंदर जाता है और माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में ये सारे प्रोसेस होते हैं जो कि हम अपने नेक्स्ट सेशन में डिस्कस करेंगे। ठीक है, पाइरूवेट 2 एसिटिल कोएंजाइम में कन्वर्ट होता है, देन ये कंप्लीट ऑक्सीडेशन होके कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वाटर बनाता है और यहाँ आपका ग्लूकोज से पाइरूवेट तक नेट गेन ऑफ एटीपी कितना हुआ था? 8 एटीपी। ठीक है, फिर जब एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होता है इसमें और 30 एटीपी रिलीज होता है। लेकिन आपका जब फर्मेंटेशन होता है, फर्मेंटेशन में एटीपी जेनरेट नहीं होता। ग्लाइकोलिसिस में जो एटीपी प्रोड्यूस हुआ है, rather that ATP are utilized in fermentation. That's why the net gain of ATP in fermentation is less. Okay, so we'll discuss all these process in our next session. So till then, let us discuss the fermentation only. We'll discuss the aerobic respiration in our next session. So what happens to the fermentation? So this is the glycolytic pathway. As you can see, this is glucose converted into 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Then these are the pathway through which it is converted into the end product, that is the pyruvic acid. Okay children, now this pyruvic acid undergoes fermentation. You can see the process here. Okay, so here the pyruvic acid is, here you can see the central molecule pyruvic acid, it is converted into lactic acid, and on the other way it is converted into ethanol. Okay, so you can see this is pyruvic acid. In one way it is converted into lactic acid, on the other way it is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. In both the cases, what do you observe? You observe that one molecule of NADH is oxidized. That means breaking down of NADH or utilized. So one NADH is equivalent to how many ATP? It is equivalent to 3 ATP. So how many pyruvic acids are released from one glucose? 2 pyruvic acid. So if 2 pyruvic acid will undergo fermentation, अगर 2 pyruvic acid का fermentation होगा तो कितना NADH यूटिलाइज हो जाएगा? 2 NADH यूटिलाइज हो जाएगा। 2 NADH अगर यूटिलाइज हो जाएगा तो आपका कितना ATP यूटिलाइज हो गया? 6 ATP यूटिलाइज हो गया। तो यहाँ हमारा कितना ATP नेट गेन हुआ था? 8 ATP। तो 8 में से अगर 6 ATP यूज हो जाएंगे तो कितना ATP बचा आपका? 2 ATP, only 2 ATP. Okay, so 2 ATP are the net gain of the fermentation. So may it be pyruvic acid to ethanol, or may it be from pyruvic acid to lactic acid. So in this way the fermentation takes place, and fermentation is bit a simple process and the net gain of energy is here very less. So but in case of aerobic respiration, huge amount of energy is released. Time and again I am telling this. And here incomplete oxidation of food is taking place. Okay, so children, I hope till fermentation your all concepts are clear. So thank you for watching this video till end. In our next session we will be discussing the aerobic respiration and tricarboxylic acid cycle. But before that you should go through this video very carefully, and you have to remember in which step how many ATP, how many NADH are released, so that at the end of respiration, the whole process of respiration, aerobic respiration especially, we can find out how many total ATP are released as a result of cellular aerobic respiration. Okay, so for next session I will be discussing aerobic respiration, and under aerobic respiration I will be discussing tricarboxylic acid cycle. So till then, thank you children.